Welcome to Sports Performance IQ. Today we're diving into what separates good players from great ones: soccer intelligence. The ability to read the game is often what distinguishes elite players, regardless of physical attributes. Soccer IQ isn't just something you're born with, it's a skill you can develop through deliberate practice and understanding key concepts. Let's break down the elements that make up exceptional soccer intelligence. First, let's talk about spatial awareness. Elite players constantly scan the field, taking mental snapshots of player positions. Next time you watch professionals, notice how frequently they check their surroundings before receiving the ball, often 3 to 5 times in the seconds before possession. This scanning behavior is random. It helps players build a mental map of the pitch, identifying spaces to exploit, pressure points, and passing options. Try incorporating deliberate scanning into your training. Before receiving a pass, make it a habit to look over both shoulders. The second critical component is pattern recognition. Soccer follows patterns and rhythms that repeat throughout matches. Defensive shifts, offensive triggers, and team movements often follow predictable sequences. Top players recognize these patterns faster, allowing them to anticipate rather than react. To develop this skill, watch high-level matches with purpose. Don't follow the ball, instead, study how defensive lines move in relation to each other. Notice how teams transition from defense to attack and which triggers cause defensive blocks to shift. Decision-making under pressure is where soccer IQ truly manifests. The average player has the ball for only 2 to 3 minutes per match, so each touch must be purposeful. Elite decision-making comes from understanding 3 key factors before receiving the ball: time, space, and risk. Time. Are opponents closing down quickly or hanging back? Space. Where are the open areas to exploit? Risk. Which option balances reward with the lowest probability of turnover? Practice this by adding constraints to your training. Use smaller spaces, time restrictions, or touch limitations to force faster decision-making. Let's talk about positional intelligence. This goes beyond simply knowing your role. It's understanding how your position relates to teammates and opponents. Elite players create triangles and diamonds across the pitch, maintaining optimal distances that enable quick combinations while providing defensive stability. For midfielders, this might mean positioning yourself at the correct angle to receive a pass while seeing the entire field. For defenders, it's about recognizing when to step forward versus when to drop. Forwards must understand how their movements create space for others. Reading defensive cues separates creative players from predictable ones. Watch for subtle indicators like defender hip position, weight distribution, and eye focus. A defender's hips don't lie, they reveal which direction they can move quickly. If their hips are square to you, they can shift either way. If turned, they've committed to a direction. When attacking, look for overloaded zones where numerical advantages exist. When defending, recognize triggers for pressing, like poor touches, players facing their own goal, or balls in the air. Game management is the final piece of soccer intelligence. The best players understand game context, when to slow down play, when to increase tempo, when to maintain possession versus when to attack directly. This comes from recognizing momentum shifts and adjusting accordingly. Start implementing these concepts in your training, and you'll notice improvements in your decision-making, positioning, and overall effectiveness. Soccer IQ might be invisible on the stat sheet, but it's unmistakable on the pitch.